Soviets and the Americans started with similar goals, the biggest and highest profile propaganda campaign in history. Today, we start looking at the space race. This is the Cold War.
The Cold War space race was more than just a competition for technological supremacy. It concealed secrets that could rewrite our understanding of the universe. What if I told you that the Soviet Union, often overshadowed in popular history, uncovered astonishing phenomena on Venus and Mars, and possibly encountered inexplicable objects that still baffle experts today? A prominent Soviet astronaut's final revelations hint at silent mysteries and suppressed discoveries, including unexplained signals, hostile planetary environments, and sudden blackouts of Mars missions. These stories raise a haunting question. What truths about space have been buried, and why does the world refuse to believe them? Soviet space race secrets. The Soviet Union's role in the early space race was nothing short of revolutionary, often outpacing the United States in achieving historic milestones.
On the 12th of April, 1961, a Soviet Air Force pilot, Yuri Gagarin, became the first human into space.
From launching the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, in 1957 to sending Yuri Gagarin into orbit in 1961, the Soviets established themselves as pioneers in space exploration. But beneath these well-known triumphs lay a web of concealed experiments, discoveries, and missions that few outside their inner circles ever heard about. Behind the scenes, the Soviets were fiercely competitive, and their space program operated under intense secrecy, shielding substantial achievements and failures from public scrutiny. Official reports rarely included full data or images, withholding details that could shift global perceptions about their technological capabilities. Sometimes, entire missions vanished from archives, or were only partially acknowledged decades later. This veil of secrecy created an aura of mystery, with rumors circulating about discoveries far beyond the public narrative. While the United States openly broadcast its moon landings and scientific endeavors, the Soviet Union strategically revealed only fragments of information, maintaining an edge in both technology and intrigue. Their missions often pushed engineering and scientific boundaries in ways that only insiders fully understood. Equally important was the motivation behind this secrecy. It was not merely competitive pride, but also a need to protect state secrets amid Cold War tensions. Information about advanced probe designs, planetary data, or anomalies detected in space could have significant military implications. Revealing vulnerabilities or unexpected findings might have jeopardized strategic advantages in this era of geopolitical rivalry. Some of the Soviets' most ambitious missions focused on planets like Venus and Mars, places where their robotic probes ventured into environments that were hostile even by cosmic standards. Behind closed doors, scientists reported strange readings and unexpected conditions, raising questions about planetary climates, atmospheric phenomena, and even the possibility of life beyond Earth. These initial reports painted a far more complex picture than the official summaries suggested. Even decades later, many official Soviet documents remain classified, fostering speculation about what truth lies buried beneath layers of state control and suppression. Stories began to emerge from defectors, whistleblowers, and later historians who pieced together fragments of Soviet extraterrestrial missions. These reconstructions hint at discoveries so significant that they could challenge the accepted timeline and understanding of space exploration history. Above all, the unspoken question lingers. What secrets did the Soviet Union uncover about our neighboring planets that we, the public, were never permitted to see? And what impact could these hidden truths have on humanity's broader knowledge of the universe? As we dive deeper into this mystery, the story of Soviet space exploration becomes a tale of concealed breakthroughs and unanswered questions. Among these hidden missions, the Venera program stands out as a beacon of both courage and silent revelation. Exploring Venus with technology many believed was nearly impossible to deploy. The Venera Venus missions. The Soviet Union's Venera missions broke new ground by surviving and gathering data from Venus, a planet shrouded in extreme heat and crushing atmospheric pressure. Venus's surface temperature reaches nearly 900 degrees Fahrenheit, with atmospheric pressure about 92 times that of Earth's. Its atmosphere is a toxic soup dominated by carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid clouds, making it one of the most inhospitable worlds ever visited. Even though these obstacles were in place, the Soviets initiated a probe series beginning with Venera 3 in 1965, but it did not manage to send data after the crash. The successful landing of Venera 4 was a turning point in history, as it sent back vital information that exposed a carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere without oxygen or liquid water. Apart from this, the mission also established that Venus had no protective magnetic field, which added to the already hostile surface conditions. The Soviets continued to develop their technology after this initial victory, with 10 more Venera missions through the 1960s and 1970s. The next probe was increasingly better developed for Venus's extreme conditions and sent more and more comprehensive images and atmospheric data. Venera 9 and 12, launched in the mid-1970s, gave the very first clear panoramic pictures of the Venusian surface, and the scientists were shocked and delighted by the dry and yet interesting landscape. Even though they were successful, the Soviets were not very quick to disclose their full discoveries or the anomalies that their instruments had detected. It was some of the data that heaped up the situation so that there were classified discussions about and research on it, which remains a mystery even now. The issue of organic molecules and other indicators pointing to possible biological processes is still in the dark. The silence that surrounds Venera's profoundest revelations only adds to the speculation about what truths were so sensitive or so shocking that they could not be made public. The question is whether the Soviets unintentionally found evidence of life or something else altogether. The complete tale is still waiting to be told, locked up by the Cold War secrecy and the race to keep the upper hand in the global political scene. However, the Soviets, in the middle of their success, occasionally disclosed the entire range of their findings or the anomalies that their devices noticed. Some of the data pointed to the existence of some phenomena that led to very hush-hush talks and investigations that are still unknown to the outside world. Questions about the existence of organic molecules and other indicators of possible biological processes keep lingering. The absence of communication about the most controversial findings from Venera only strengthens the idea that some of the truths were too sensitive or shocking to be publicly revealed. Was it that the Soviets, by chance, came across the proof of extraterrestrial life, or something else? The epic tale of this incident is still not told, as it is enveloped in the secrecy of the Cold War and the struggle for the upper hand in the geopolitics game. From Venus, the Soviets set their sights on Mars, a red world cloaked equally in enigma and ambition, where their next pioneering missions would again push boundaries and sow new mysteries. Mars 2 and Mars 3 missions. In 1971, the Soviet Union launched Mars 2 and Mars 3, hallmark missions designed to achieve soft landings on the Martian surface, a feat never before accomplished by any country. Each mission consisted of an orbiter and a lander, equipped with an array of scientific instruments, cameras, and a small, innovative rover called the Prop-M. These missions represented some of the most advanced planetary technology of their time. Mars 2's lander unfortunately crashed on the surface, its parachute failing on descent, rendering it inoperable. However, its orbiter successfully entered Martian orbit, gathering and sending valuable data about the planet's atmosphere and surface. Mars 3 achieved a groundbreaking soft landing on December 2, 1971, becoming the first spacecraft to do so, and momentarily establishing the Soviet Union as the leader in Mars exploration. The Prop-M rover attached to Mars 3 was a technological marvel. weighing a mere 5 kilograms and designed to act as an autonomous robot equipped with skis to traverse Mars' rough terrain. It could analyze soil density, texture, and strength, a pioneering concept that presaged future robotic explorers. Unfortunately, its operational time was tragically brief, lasting just about 20 seconds before contact was lost. Not long after the landing, the Mars 3 lander abruptly went silent after transmitting only a faint gray image. The cause remains uncertain, with theories ranging from a massive dust storm enveloping the craft to more speculative ideas suggesting interference beyond natural phenomena. The sudden loss of contact cast a shadow over what had initially been celebrated as a technological triumph. Soviet official reports largely omitted mention of the Prop M rover, and many details of these missions remained classified or minimized. It wasn't until decades later that leaked information and independent research revealed the rover's existence and the sophistication of Soviet Mars exploration technology at that time. This omission deepened the intrigue and suspicion surrounding Soviet space programs. Despite setbacks, the missions yielded invaluable data on Mars's atmosphere, soil composition, and magnetic field, shaping global understanding of the Red Planet. The Soviet efforts inspired further international missions and set foundational steps for robotic exploration that continue today. Still, the mystery of what truly happened after Mars 3's landing and what hidden information was deliberately withheld leaves a lingering question about the full extent of Soviet discoveries on Mars. Their pursuit of knowledge was intertwined with secrecy and competition, shadowing some of the most significant moments in planetary science. As we look beyond these initial Mars missions, the story deepens with revelations of secret rovers, unexplained transmissions, and a reality far more complex than the public was ever led to believe. The cosmos held more secrets than anyone imagined, awaiting disclosure in time. The unexplained silence that followed these missions sets an eerie tone, one that echoes in later revelations from astronauts and scientific insiders. The Prop M rover revelation. The Prop M rover was a remarkable piece of engineering, devised during the Mars 2 and Mars 3 missions.
In 1971, the Soviet Union launched the twin, the Prop M rovers, whose name is an anglicized acronym for the Russian. They were crammed in alongside a battery of science instruments into the Mars 2 and Mars 3 landers,
as a pioneering attempt at robotic exploration on another planet. Weighing just 5 kilograms, this small autonomous rover was built to move across the Martian surface using skis, an innovative design suited to traversing the planet's rocky and uneven terrain. Equipped with sensors to analyze soil density, texture, and strength, the Prop M represented a significant leap forward, showcasing Soviet ingenuity decades ahead of many others in the field. Despite its advanced capabilities, the rover's existence was shrouded in secrecy for years, with official Soviet reports failing to mention this remarkable technological achievement. The rover was tethered to the lander by a 15-meter cable, designed to explore the surrounding ground while the main module stayed anchored. This setup was revolutionary, imagining a robotic scout ahead of human footsteps, yet the mission barely allowed it to perform. The Prop M rover operated for only about 20 seconds on Mars before communication was lost, cutting short what could have been the first substantial exploration of Martian terrain by an autonomous robot. This early attempt at remote planetary exploration laid the groundwork that would echo in later, more successful rovers from other space programs. Interestingly, despite the advanced nature of these missions, the details about the Prop M rover remained so well hidden that it wasn't until 1990, almost 2 decades later, that the public learned about the rover through leaks and independent research. This omission reflects the broader pattern of suppression and controlled disclosure surrounding Soviet space achievements. Scholars and enthusiasts had to piece together the full story slowly, uncovering a hidden chapter of space history marked by technological brilliance and frustrating secrecy. The silence about Prop M only deepened the mystery and raised questions about what else might have been concealed. The Prop M rover, though its operational life was short, perfectly reflected the Soviet Union's dream of space exploration, daring, creative, and unflinching in the face of the extraterrestrial environment's unknown difficulties. The Prop M project was a foresight of the future of robotic planetary missions, where performing science by the robots would lead the missions long before it became the standard practice. The little rover gave a hint that it was possible to use planetary rovers as human explorers' proxies, and thus opened new areas of the universe to be conquered by humans. The short-lived life of this rover on Mars is a sad but realistic reminder of the technological risks and uncertainties that accompany the journey to the unknown. The tale of Prop M, at the same time, magnified the official history of the Soviet participation in Mars exploration, revealing how the secrecy of the political atmosphere eclipsed the scientific progress. While the Western accounts usually give emphasis to the NASA Mars rovers, Prop M is a living testimony that the other nations had already done the groundwork for development. It makes one reconsider the past, accepting that the transformation was not a single-party affair and that several players were silently updating the technology by the Iron Curtain. The existence of Prop M, together with the other devices on Mars 2 and 3, brought forth necessary information on Martian soil characteristics and the conditions of the terrain, essential for the comprehension of the possible paths and ways of survival of the future missions. Even during the very short periods of its functioning, the instrument was able to collect data that contributed to the formulation of theories concerning Mars's habitability and climate. Thus, the missions remained as key landmarks in Martian research, even though their lives were cut short. The partial achievements of these missions eventually led to the development of more durable robotic explorers later on. Such a mysterious strategy in space exploration might have affected the public's perception of the technological innovation's leadership in the initial years. The Soviet Union, by not publicizing the existence of instruments like Prop M, not only created an enigmatic image around them, but also missed the chance to let the world know about its scientific victory. The secrecy sometimes obstructed the cooperation and the sharing of ideas. Thus, the Soviet achievements remained hidden from the world. The future generation was left to speculate about how much more could have been discovered if transparency were the rule. As the mysteries of Prop M linger, they naturally lead us to the sudden silence that shrouded Mars 3, a haunting moment in space exploration that continues to baffle scientists and fuel speculation. The sudden Mars 3 silence.
Mars 2 lander crashed, but Mars 3 succeeded and became the first spacecraft to attain a soft landing on Mars. On December 2, 1971, they were launched by the Soviet Union.
The Mars 3 mission's initial success was a beacon of Soviet achievement, delivering the first-ever soft landing on Mars on December 2, 1971. However, moments after transmitting the first faint image of the Martian surface, a hazy gray frame, the spacecraft abruptly fell silent. This unexpected blackout occurred only 15 seconds after landing, cutting off all communication without warning. The loss stunned mission controllers and created one of the most enduring enigmas in space exploration history. Explaining this sudden silence has proven elusive, with multiple theories emerging over the decades. The most widely accepted scientific explanation points to an intense dust storm engulfing the lander shortly after touchdown. Mars is known for epic, planet-wide dust storms that can last for weeks, dramatically altering visibility and surface conditions. It's plausible that the storm interfered with Mars 3's radio signals or damaged its systems, leading to the abrupt shutdown of transmissions. However, the timing and totality of the communication blackout have led some to entertain more speculative possibilities. Given the Cold War context and fervor surrounding space exploration, rumors arose that extraterrestrial interference might have played a role. While lacking concrete evidence, these ideas echo the human fascination with alien life and the unknown dangers lurking on another world. They highlight how the mystery surrounding Mars 3 has tantalized both scientists and conspiracy theorists alike. The silence from Mars 3 effectively ended what could have been an extended mission, frustrating scientists who had hoped to gain sustained insight into Martian soil and atmosphere. The craft carried an array of instruments, including cameras, spectrometers, and meteorological devices designed to analyze the environment in unprecedented detail. Losing contact meant losing data that might still have transformed our understanding of Mars decades ago. It underscored the inherent risks that come with exploring harsh and unpredictable worlds. Adding to the intrigue is the Soviet decision to omit many details of the Mars 3 mission in official accounts. Reports were vague, downplaying the mission's challenges, and sometimes omitting instruments like the Prop M rover entirely. This reticence fed suspicions about what the Soviet space program truly encountered on Mars. Was the blackout merely a technical failure, or was there something deeper the public was not meant to know? The opacity surrounding the mission has left questions hanging in the air. Decades later, the arrival of high-resolution Mars imagery from subsequent missions reignited interest in the Mars 3 landing site. American spacecraft, such as the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, identified debris fields, including a parachute and a circular metallic object, believed to be remnants of the Mars 3 lander. These discoveries confirmed key elements of the mission's execution and showed the lander did indeed survive entry. Yet, the cause of its sudden silence remains unresolved, adding another layer to the mystery. The Mars 3 episode illustrates the unpredictable nature of interplanetary exploration, where even the most carefully planned missions can fall victim to the harsh realities of another planet's environment. It reminds us that space exploration is a delicate dance with unknown forces, with success often balanced precariously against failure. The mission's dramatic end emphasizes the courage and ambition required to reach beyond our world despite uncertainty. The eerie quiet that fell over Mars 3 after those fleeting moments connects the story of secret Soviet space exploration to the astonishing UFO sightings captured from the International Space Station, hinting at a cosmos more mysterious than we dare imagine. UFOs and ISS footage. In recent years, some of the most startling revelations about Soviet space secrets have come from an unexpected source. A Soviet astronaut aboard the International Space Station. During his time orbiting Earth, he captured video footage that quickly attracted global attention. Initially, filming the breathtaking auroras in the southern hemisphere, the astronaut's camera suddenly revealed several unidentified flying objects moving in an unusual, coordinated formation just beyond the ISS. This sighting wasn't ordinary space debris or satellites. The objects exhibited behavior that baffled experts and prompted intense curiosity. Despite the video's rapid spread across social media, the silence from official space agencies, including those managing the ISS, has been deafening. The astronauts submitted the footage for formal analysis, yet the lack of any public response only deepened speculation. This silence feeds into a pattern of withheld information regarding unidentified aerial phenomena, leaving many to wonder what space agencies actually know but choose not to disclose. The disconnect between what astronauts observe firsthand and what is publicly acknowledged creates a profound sense of mistrust. For decades, claims of unidentified flying objects in space have been met with skepticism, often dismissed as misinterpretations or natural phenomena. However, when credible astronauts, backed by high-definition footage, report such sightings, the conversation inevitably shifts. The objects recorded over Earth's atmosphere move with precision and speed that defy conventional explanation. They challenge current scientific understanding and push the boundaries of what we think is possible in space technology. This incident aligns with numerous whistleblower accounts and formally classified documents alleging that space agencies, including NASA, have encountered phenomena suggestive of extraterrestrial technology.
An object the size of a city block just drifted past the ISS. NASA cameras caught everything. They captured a massive UFO close to the International Space Station.
Though official positions often label these occurrences as inconclusive, the accumulation of evidence adds weight to alternative views. Over the years, testimonies from pilots, scientists, and military personnel have hinted at more profound realities lurking behind governmental secrecy. The astronaut's footage is one of the clearest publicly available visual proofs in this ongoing puzzle. The implications of these unexplained objects are monumental, stretching far beyond mere curiosity. They raise questions about the extent of human knowledge regarding cosmic visitors or advanced, unknown technologies operating near Earth. If such phenomena have been observed repeatedly, yet kept out of public scrutiny, it indicates a complex intersection of science, politics, and national security concerns. Understanding why this information remains restricted might reveal deeper fears about the societal impact of acknowledging extraterrestrial presence. From these haunting glimpses of the unexplained in Earth orbit, we turn back to the Soviet missions to our planetary neighbors, where further hidden discoveries shake the foundations of conventional space science. Hidden discoveries on Venus and Mars. The Soviet Union's explorations of Venus and Mars went far beyond mere planetary reconnaissance. They uncovered data that challenged prevailing assumptions about both planets and their potential for life. Among the most astonishing findings were traces of organic molecules detected during their missions, suggesting that complex chemical processes, perhaps even biological precursors, might exist on these harsh worlds. Yet, much of this information was carefully suppressed or minimized in public reports during the Cold War, leaving a fragmentary narrative of planetary science in the public domain. On Venus, particularly with the Venera 13 mission in 1982, high-quality images captured bleak but intriguing landscapes, revealing surface compositions and conditions that hinted at dynamic processes.
On March 5, 1982, the Soviet Union's Venera 14 spacecraft landed on Venus. Venera 14 launched just 5 days after its identical twin, Venera 13. Both space probes spent 4 months traveling to Venus, and Venera 13 arrived a few days earlier.
More compellingly, instruments aboard these probes recorded unexpected chemical signatures, including organic compounds beneath Venus's thick, toxic atmosphere. The presence of such molecules raises tantalizing possibilities. Despite Venus's intense heat and pressure, could some form of microbial or alternative life exist, perhaps underground or in the cloud layers? Mars missions, too, returned enigmatic results. While the surface appears barren and desolate, analyses from early Soviet landers indicated inconsistencies and anomalies in the soil's composition that some scientists argue could be linked to past or present biological activity. Given Mars's dusty storms and radiation environment, these signs were subtle and indirect, but fueled a persistent hope that Mars might have harbored life, or still does in some hidden niche. Soviet scientists reportedly pursued these leads with great interest, though details remained cloaked to avoid geopolitical ramifications. This veil of silence surrounding organic findings contributed to a broader culture of secrecy, where extraordinary discoveries were often classified as state secrets. The Soviet leadership feared that releasing such information could have both scientific and strategic consequences, prompting caution and obfuscation. It wasn't until decades later, with declassified files and international cooperation, that glimpses of these findings surfaced, forcing a re-evaluation of early planetary missions and their legacy. The possibility that extraterrestrial life signatures, or at least the precursors to life, were detected so early fundamentally challenges our cosmic perspective. It suggests that the search for life beyond Earth is not a modern endeavor, but one with roots deep in Cold War space programs. These concealed discoveries remind us how political context can shape scientific discourse and delay global access to crucial knowledge. Moreover, the Soviet experiences with Venus and Mars set precedents for how future missions are designed to investigate biosignatures. Techniques tested on Venera and Mars spacecraft laid the foundation for advanced instruments hunting water, organics, and chemical imbalances today. Even if direct evidence of life remains elusive, these early findings were pioneering steps that expanded humanity's scientific toolkit for exploring other worlds. As the story of suppressed findings unfolds, it beckons us to consider how much more awaits revelation, not just in dusty archives, but in the depths of space itself, where secrets still linger beneath alien skies. Impact on space exploration today. The revelations uncovered from the Soviet Union's secretive space missions have deeply challenged the conventional narrative of space exploration. For decades, stories of groundbreaking discoveries and encounters with the unexpected were buried beneath political secrecy and strategic silences. Today, as these accounts come to light, they urge us to rethink who truly led humanity's earliest ventures into our solar system and how much knowledge was kept from the public. This reconsideration broadens our understanding of space history beyond familiar tales dominated by Western achievements. The suppression of critical data, such as the existence of the Prop M rover, the sudden disappearance of Mars 3, and hidden atmospheric anomalies on Venus, highlights how geopolitical rivalries often prioritize secrecy over scientific collaboration. Such practices slowed the global exchange of knowledge that might have accelerated progress. Now, reflecting on these missed opportunities fuels calls for greater transparency and openness in all space endeavors. It reminds us that exploring the cosmos is a collective human endeavor, not a competition limited by national borders or political agendas. In addition, these secrets from the Soviet Union period reveal the technology and ambition that were hidden from the West, leading to a reshaping of the idea that Western agencies were the only inventors. Early robotic explorers like Prop M and the Venera missions took risks that were very crucial for later success. Recognizing the contributors to these advancements results in a more equitable view of the technological progress of that time and a call to celebrate every person who dared to cross the frontier of research with the odds against them. No less significant is the impact of these secrets on the current challenges of space exploration. Learning from the past problems, the quiet discoveries, and the unexpected occurrences will help to ensure today's scientists do not take interplanetary missions for granted, and that reasonable cautions are always in place. It also shines a light on the unpredictability of the alien environments and the necessity for technologies that are not easily destroyed, and for strategies that can change according to the situation. Each failure or puzzle that has not been solved by previous programs is a tutorial, directing current projects like Mars rovers, Venus missions, and lunar explorations. In the comprehensive cultural background, revealing these mysteries provokes the public's fascination with aliens and the paranormal. The Soviet space program's speculation about the presence of living beings And the stories about UFOs and their silence showed that there is still a lot to know about the universe. Such disclosures have not only brought back the old questions, but also awakened the new ones, the young and the old, to dream and go on venturing far beyond the limits set by the authorities of science. They show that the whole process of exploration in outer space is indeed a battle of wits with the unknown, rather than an achievement of milestones. The issuance of the movie revealing the presence of unidentified objects at the International Space Station adds a new twist to this story. It indicates a very active universe full of all kinds of mysteries, possibly signaling that at least one of the three, aliens or secret technologies operating in Earth's orbit, exists among us. The implications of these revelations are not just for the imagination, but also for scientific research that has to be done, and the openness of the public that has to be granted to all agencies involved. Through opening up and collaborating, it will be possible to clarify these occurrences and include them in the ever-growing realm of human wisdom. The Soviet Union's secret space discoveries challenge everything we thought we knew about our cosmic neighbors and the history of space exploration. Hidden missions, unexplained phenomena, and silence from the stars compel us to question and explore deeper. If you found this journey into forgotten space history fascinating, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations beyond discovery.